Welcome to another edition of the Muscle News. In this episode, I will be talking about the clash between Bob Cicherillo and Brian Powers of the Arnold Classic. Now, there's has been a lot of back and forth between Bob and Brian in the last few months in regards to the Arnold Classic, Bob's job as the MC, and as well Bob's comments regards Nick Walker. Now, in one of his latest shows, Bob not criticized Nick. I mean, Bob has nothing to do, nothing against Nick. What he has is an opinion, and Bob, knowing him for a number of years now, he'll make sure his point gets across to everybody. Um, and you have to get used to the way he says it. Now, Brian, being in the industry not so long, a couple of years, running the Arnold Classic, which is not a small job, has to learn how to respect the people that have been around for 20, 30, 40 years. Now, I have clashed with him many times. He, I might not run the Arnold Classic. All right. I've had a bodybuilding site up and running since 2013, and I've been following bodybuilding and making connections all over the world since I was 15, 16. I'm going to be 55, so if you do the maths, I have been around for a while as well. Speaking about Bob, he has a fantastic history in bodybuilding. He's, you know, living the life working in bodybuilding. He's a fighter. He's respected for, I don't know if it's 12 or 13 times trying to get his pro card. He finally earned it. Competed in a couple of shows, including the Olympia, and then moved over into the media side of things and becoming one of the best MCs around in the industry. Now, Bob is known for saying it as it is. He has his own YouTube channel now, and even though he's a MC at the Mr. Olympia, and previously he used to work as the MC at the Arnold Classic, which he said he will never do again, probably because Brian Powers is running things. Um, Bob has his opinion that Nick Walker will not place higher than seventh or eighth at the Mr. Olympia. In his recent comments, Bob said, the argument out there in La La Land is that because Nick Walker almost beat Derek, it was a tie, he almost beat him, and therefore he's a legitimate contender for the Mr. Olympia title. He continues to say, if you can't beat Mr. Olympia, in this case, Derek Lunsford, at his worst, what makes you think you can beat him at his best? He continues, there's six good reasons why I have Nick fighting for seventh. Can he do better? Yes, he can do anything from fourth, in my opinion, to about seventh. Here's why Hadi, Samson, Derek, those are three guys that I don't believe Nick can beat. Here's the next batch of three. Andrew, Behruz, and Fitzwater. Those are three guys that at 100% I think would be challenging for Nick to get past them. Because every one of those guys is shaped better, put together better, don't have stomach issues, and present very formidable physiques. Can somebody come in off? Of course they can. That's why we play the game. Now, after Bob said these comments, they were published on the Buys and Tries Instagram page. And Brian Powers went on and I mean, I admire the guy. For a guy that has such a high position at the Arnold Classic, he doesn't hold back from expressing his opinion. I mean, he's putting fuel in the fire, and he has to understand that Bob has been around for many, many years. And regardless of what Brian does and says, he will not, remove Bob from the sport. I mean, Bob is getting contracts from the biggest companies in the industry. I mean, these companies could easily sponsor younger athletes, and Bob has been retired for so many years, and he's still getting these contracts and putting in the hours and doing the job, touring the world, and still working as the MC at the Olympia weekend. Included in this video, you can see the debate between Bo Bob Cicherillo and Brian Powers. You know, Brian is saying basically that Bob shouldn't be talking like this when he has such a high profile job. But Bob is not a judge, he's not a coach, he's nothing other than an MC when it comes to working on stage. So Bob has an opinion in a sport that is based on opinions. I mean, every podcast that's out there criticizes, every competitor. And yes, Nick has to improve on certain things if he wants to beat, the top 6 or 7 guys at the Mr. Olympia. I mean, in his, turns and changes between poses, he has to control his midsection. And Nick has one thing against him. He is not, you know, aesthetically pleasing as Derek or Samson or Martin Fitzwater. And, you know, Hadi Choopan as well is not so aesthetically pleasing, but his condition makes up for everything else. Can Nick Walker come in that rock hard condition? Yes. Can Nick Walker outsize a number of competitors? Yes. But then it comes down to the fine things that judges look for at the so-called best bodybuilding event in the world, which is the Mr. Olympia. Now, the big battle will be between Derek and Nick, with Derek edging him out at the Pittsburgh Pro. Now, the next time they will hopefully meet again will be at the 2025 Mr. Olympia. Getting back to Brian, Brian cannot keep shutting out, the main people in the industry just because they don't support the Arnold Classic 100%, or maybe they pull towards more at the Olympia weekend. As I always say, you do not bite the hand that feeds you. Now, on Brian's side, there are a number of people that I will not mention here that are already showing that they are pushing to the side of the Arnold. Now, what's making them do that? I am not gonna allege anything because I haven't seen anything, but it's if it's black on white, it's 1 plus 1. It's obvious some people are going on the side of the Arnold for certain reasons. In regards to Brian Powers' relationship with the people on the side of the Mr. Olympia, well, looking at it from the outside, there is a battle going on. Arnold keeps on bumping up the prize fund, and we have to wait and see what Jake Wood will do in at the 2025 Arnold Classic. As usual, Dan Solomon and Jake Wood will not, leak out anything. They'll probably increase the prize fund the minute they give the prize to the winner of the 2025 Mr. Olympia. Now, if Arnold put up the prize fund, to 750,000 for the winner of the Arnold Classic. And now we have to see what the Olympia people will do with their prize fund. I'm sure this will not end between Brian and Bob, because now every time Bob opens his mouth, we can expect Brian to comment on social media in regards what Bob says. Um, Obviously, Brian, he has that position and he's out there because he works for Arnold. And, you know, Bob has been relevant all these years working on his own. Okay, working with people like Jim Mannion, the Mr. Olympia, the Arnold Classic, and numerous other things. You know, Bob and Dan were the first people to have a real podcast about bodybuilding. It was one of the most popular shows in the world when it comes to bodybuilding, and they kept grinding away and moving forward from, the early 90s all the way till today. Now, without Arnold, what would Brian Powers be today? Now, we know he comes from a Comic Con background and whatever else he did. Saying that, he still has to, prove himself in the industry, not, attack people because he knows he has Arnold behind him. Maybe Arnold doesn't really agree with what Brian does, but surely that will not come out in the open. We have to see what happens with the Arnold Classic in the future. There's not too many left. Unfortunately, the Arnold Europe will not be taking place again. Since Brian's been in power, there was literally no promotion of the Arnold Europe. So IFBB president Dr. Rafael Santona did the right thing and just pulled the plug and started his own event, which is the IFBB World Cup, which is already gaining momentum, and they're looking at it to be bigger and better than any other of the latest Arnold Classic Europes. What's left for Brian is the Arnold UK, the Arnold USA, and the Arnold Brazil. I don't know what will be happening with the Arnold Brazil, but as it looks, they're only focusing on the Arnold UK and the Arnold USA. In regards to Bob, we will not be seeing him on the Arnold stage. He made that, you know, confirmation on his VOB podcast, the Voice of Bodybuilding podcast. He said he will not work with incompetent people again. Um, you know, I don't know, we don't know what happened behind the scenes. I spoke to Bob. Um, you know, I understand what he went through, and I don't blame him for walking out on such a prestigious job. Saying this again, Bob, he has not enough what to do, and I don't think he's crying over this. Anyways, I hope you like this podcast. I've been wanting to put it out for a while. We can't go on and on forever between the battles of Brian and Bob. And hopefully, in the near future, who knows, maybe they'll patch things up and work together. But as it looks, the feud between the Arnold and the Olympia and Bob and Brian will not end anytime soon. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel.